Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Foxy Stitches. I am Franny, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to review Simplicity 9373. It is a cardigan pattern. It has 4 views. View A is the longer cardigan. It has standard sleeves and a fold over with 2 front pockets. View B is shorter than view A, while A reaches mid to lower calf. B is more like thigh length almost. It also has 2 front pockets and has a standard sleeve, while view C is right below the hips. It has a sleeve band, and then view D has gathering at the end of the sleeve. So these are, this cardigan does come with buttons, designed with buttons, while the longer view is 6 buttons. And then view D, which is the shorter view, has 3 buttons. You see it's the drop sleeve, which is amazing. Actually, it's more like the sleeve, it's almost like grown on sleeves. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's grown on sleeves, and then you have a sleeve that you attach to that, which is on trend right now. Definitely on trend. This pattern, I made some modifications. I am going to go through the steps that I took in order to make the modifications. So check out this video. All right, guys, today I am making Simplicity 9373. I'm making view A. I'm recreating the misguided maxi length cardigan. And so I'm going to elongate this. I'm going to add about 5 or 6 inches to the length of this cardigan. Now, normally I would do a full bust adjustment for the width and the length of the front piece, but I was reading and I would normally cut a size extra large. Actually, that's what I'm going to cut today based on my bust. But for my waist, I would cut a size large. No, my hips is a size large, and waist, it would be a large as well. But I was looking at the finished garment measurements. It does have it on the back. Thank you, Simplicity. And so for the bust, let's see, if I cut an extra large, the bust is going to be 54 inches. So I might not actually add width to the front piece. However, I am going to add length to the front piece, because every time I do a full bust adjustment, I have to lengthen it to account for the full mound. Okay, so I'm going to add an extra 1.5 inches to the front piece, and then 5 inches to the bottom. So that's what I'm working on right now. I was looking at the width of my fabric. I'm still trying to figure out which side I'm going to use as the outside. I love this side, but this is soft like a baby's bottom right here. So we'll see. I kind of want this to touch my skin, but I'll probably make it the outside piece. But this is what I'm working on today. Simplicity 9373. I'm going to use my serger to make this project because my sewing machine is at the doctor, sadly. Yep. So wish me luck with this project. I'm not going to install the buttons. And we're going to make the sleeves, or I'm going to make the sleeves from view C. So that's the reason why I purchased an extra yard of fabric. All right. Talk to you guys later. All right. So now I'm working on piece number 1, which is the front for pattern Simplicity 9373. For this one, I had to make some modifications. I pretty much cut a size large through the neckline, the shoulder seam, and the armhole, and then moved into a size extra large in the bust area, and then back down to a large for the remainder of the pattern. I added the 5 inches to lengthen the cardigan so that it's maxi length. And then since the width is 54 inches for the extra large, I didn't add width for the full bust adjustment, but I did add length. And so that's about almost 2 inches. It's a 1 7/8 inch for my full bust adjustment. And then I true up the hem. So this is what it's looking like for the cardigan. Making progress. So the only thing that I have left now is I still need to cut the band, the front band right here. And then I'm going to cut the sleeve for view A. So that's number 5. Okay, so that's right there. And then I'm also going to cut the sleeve band, which is number 9 right here. And that's it. I'm not cutting the pockets because I don't want the pockets in the front. If I do decide to add pockets, I'm going to put inseam pockets, but I doubt I'll do that. So that's what I have going on right now. All right, here we go. All right, so done cutting the front, and now I'm working on piece number 4, which is the front band. And whatever you do to one pattern piece, like modifications, anything that's attached to it, you do have to keep that into consideration, the modifications you'll need to make to it. So since this this number 1 piece, which is the front, is attached to the band, I need to make changes, or I need to lengthen the front band. So it's just like math. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So what I did to front piece number 1 and add length to it, I needed to do that to the band. And so I added it here. I literally placed the band on top of piece number 1, matched the circles. So this is the circle, the dot right here for the band, and then here's the one for piece number 1. And then I pinned it together and matched the notches so that, and I would have an accurate length for the front. On this pattern piece, it shows that up here, I would need to stretch it. Where is it? Right here. But it doesn't show it anywhere else on the pattern. So I know that the rest of this needs to be exactly the same. And what I did after that was I drew the small dot for view D here so that it would match the top band. And then even though I'm not making view D, I'm making view A, just so I could make sure it was lined up. And I transferred the dot for view A onto this one. And I'm using notebook paper, guys. I have paper downstairs that I could have used, but I just didn't want to get out of my sewing mode and prepping. So I was like, okay, I have notebook paper in here. We're using notebook paper today. So I use any paper that I find laying around if I'm not in my sewing cave, but pretty much today we're using notebook paper. Wide rule notebook paper to be exact. Okay, so I'm done with the front band. I'm going to need to cut this in the regular fabric, or the fabric that I'm using, the fashion fabric, and cut interfacing 2 times. So I'm going to essentially cut 4 pieces of this front band. Then after this, I just have the sleeve, and after the sleeves, the sleeve band. And then I'll press the interfacing onto my front band, and then I'm ready to go to the machine. All right, so that's everything that all the modifications that I made to the pattern. I didn't mention that I omitted the buttons, so I didn't have to worry about buttonholes. Plus, with the fabric that I used for this cardigan, if I was gonna do the buttonholes, I think it would have been a little bit more tricky because this fabric was very stretchy. So I did omit the pocket. I omitted the buttons. But besides that and the modifications that I notated in the video, that's all of that I did different. So you know that I did a full bust adjustment. That was fairly easy. I followed a video for that. And then I interfaced the front band, which is what's in the instructions. This pattern only has, with my modifications, I only needed 5 pattern pieces. But if you're going to make this pattern as designed straight from the envelope, there's about 7 pattern pieces. So you have the front and the back, front pocket, the sleeve, and then if you're going to make the design with the cuff, there's a sleeve band for A and there's a different sleeve band for C. So the pattern comes with a total of 10 pieces, but there's like an elastic guide, which you really don't, it's just your guide for cutting the elastic. This was a extremely easy make. I will definitely make this again, but with a sturdier fabric. I have plans to make one for my mom because my mom saw my cardigan and she's like, where's mine? Yeah, so I'm going to be a good daughter and make one for my mom. The only other thing when I made this fabric, and it's because I used such a stretchy fabric, when I made this pattern, the fabric was so stretchy that I didn't have stabilization right here. It just wasn't stable. So this area, like the neckline, completely drooped. So I ended up having to cut about 5 3/4, let's see, 5 3/4 of an inch from the neckline in the back, and I created a center seam in the back so that it would go all the way down to take care of that. And I installed elastic in the seam, the shoulder seams, to stabilize the neck, the shoulder seams. So if I ever decide to make this pattern in a knit fabric again, I have to figure out a better way of stabilizing the neckline. But other than that, this was a amazing cardigan. It is better than the cardigan that I was going to purchase. Yes, I said it. And so would I make this again? Yes. Did my final garment look exactly the same as the envelope? No, but that's because I modified it. If I didn't modify it and I started the pockets and didn't shorten it, then it would look exactly the same. But this is such an amazing pattern. Like I'm in love with this pattern to the point that if you see 3 or 4 maxi length cardigans, just know that you already know. Okay, so that's all. I am going to show you guys a video of me wearing it out. I went to like a tree lighting area in the city that I live in, and so they had beautiful decorations, and I decided, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and record here while I'm out. It was a little chilly out. My cardigan was perfect. I wore my this cardigan with a pair of just a nice black shirt with a mock turtleneck, some black palazzo pants, and mules.